नमस्ते भैया मैं नमस्ते टू एवरीवन। मैं
हेलो।
थोड़ा बाहर हूँ। मैं अभी थोड़ी देर में फिर लैपटॉप से ज्वाइन कर पाऊंगा।
ओके, कोई बात नहीं।
नमस्ते भैया मैं नमस्ते टू एवरीवन। मैं थोड़ा
So I will just start the sharing. So yesterday we had left off where we were talking about how the cyclicity of the body and of indeed the existence is basically giving and rejuvenating all the atomic structures so that evolution can be possible. And I believe since we are the knowledge order, we can say that evolution has also been there, or existence is also there to suffice the evolution of Jeevan. So we had left off at this point. I'll just recapture a few lines. Bodies are conceived and take shape in the womb only to return to the elements upon death, contributing to the cycle of soil, air, and water. The entity which understands Jivan remains the same forever. So, for the audience, we are just clarifying that again, the body is composed of the Jivan, which is Man, Vritti, Chit, and this is combined with the soul, and that is complete a complete package. Now we can say a package word, but the complete cumulation of these entities becomes the Jivan, and then that Jivan is interacting, or rather stays with the physical form of the body, and so these two are in coexistence in a in the way of existence is they are coexisting with each other. So all the Jivans are here being described as having a very similar to each other. Their constitution is very similar, but their evolution differs. So basically, what that means is that the traits or the way the Jivan behaves or interacts is the level of wisdom it has, and that wisdom it gathers when it has the physical body or the physical form. So we are also saying that the Jivan remains the same forever. So here we are also counting that time is not a parity for the Jivan. It is just the way it is structured, it stays the same. In humans, Jivan is the only entity that understands. So as we said, the body is used by the Jivan to experience, to understand, and to get wisdom. So this is the only part of the human body which understands. There's nothing in the brain or in the mind or in the physical structure of the brain we can say that understands. It just processes everything that it gets the input from, be it from the reading something or seeing something or hearing something. So the Jivan, which is not a physical presence, as in you cannot touch it, but it is definitely part of the physical existence. It's a very minute structure, just like the atom, but it is a complete Gatan Purna. So that's what we say it in Hindi. It's a complete atomic structure with all its shells having that right order of particles. So that is what is the entity that understands. By this sentence, we are understanding this, that nothing part of the body understands actually. And then existence has been understood in the form of coexistence only. It is only with the coexistence outlook that we become capable of living in orderliness in every situation. So yeah, I mean, uh, we can see it very simple forms. Yesterday we mentioned about how everything is coexisting, and when they coexist, they actually add value, or like they coexist by evolution taking place at that point, and it adds to the coexistence itself, just like sulfur and sorry, sodium and chlorine. We talked about how when they combine together, they make table salt. And so when uh, elements are interacting with each other, it will be depicted in the paragraphs below. They are actually adhering to the orderliness. So everything is in coexistence. This coexistence brings about the orderliness in every situation. So that's what we are understanding from this point. So when we say everything is in coexistence, we also mean at the atomic level, everything is in coexistence. That is to say that the atoms are coexisting with other atoms. That means they are sharing the shells, and that way they are combining to form compounds and molecules, and those complex molecules again form plants and animal life, and those again are also like these are divided, right? The plants are different from the matter, and the animals are different from the plants, but they are again still coexisting. So the coexistence part has to be understood very, very deeply within us, that everything is in coexistence. It's not just that we are coexisting with the animals or the plants. At the very root core of atomic structures also there is coexistence, right? And that is in every situation also. Living in orderliness is the goal of humans. Living in orderliness itself is happiness. Jeevan suffers from problems while living in disorder. Yes, so we can understand from this that when we don't understand coexistence or orderliness, then we are also going to be suffering. We are going to be uh, uh, almost a hindrance onto ourselves, because when we are not wise, or when we are saying that we are the doers of something, or we are the sole purpose, that everything exists out there is for us, for our fulfillment, for our consumption, then we are left with that peril that we are in right now, where we have things like global warming, we have things like wars, and we have things like even food, for that matter. Because of profits, we are driving the very thing that we are constituted with to a point of saying that we are almost consuming poison every time we eat food. So this is because we have not understood orderliness, we have not understood coexistence. That's why all this havoc is out there. Consequently, the search for resolution becomes inevitable. So again, this is also in this sentence also means that because the Jivan suffers from problems while living in disorder, the consequence of that is the resolution part is the thirst for it is awoken, and so inevitably we then run towards resolution. We run towards idealistic resolutions. Maybe we start chanting the mantras, or we start looking for outlets, scientific, or be it even the idealistic way of trying to look for a solution to all these problems, right? Would anybody like to raise a question, or was any question suggestion? They can do so. Okay, I will read ahead. Jivan has an a Jivan has an inherent tendency to continuously search and explore. It is not just in Jivan. Exploration goes on even in the insentient atoms. Okay, sorry. So this means that even in the atoms, the exploration takes place. So let's see how that is explained. This is the cause of transformation in the insentient nature. Everywhere there exists a natural inclination towards coexistence. This inclination is what leads atomic particles to assemble into atoms, atoms to combine into molecules, and molecules to combine to form into molecular forms. Okay. So not just the Jeevan is wanting to understand, to explore, this very nature is in atoms also, and this is how atoms combine with other atoms it is familiar with, or it is able to share the shell with. So that's how they combine, and they form part of coexistence. So even we can see that word insentient, basically it doesn't have any understanding, but even the atoms are explorative in nature. Can we believe that it is at the atomic level that all this exploration is there, and that's how it's able to combine to form molecules, and then molecules into molecular forms, right? So in this way, humans can understand the being of infinite planets and celestial bodies in existence, right? We can do that. We have actually has have the James Webb telescope, and we are seeing that there is so many planetary structures out there, and we are seeing the celestial bodies, and we are also planning. So many countries are now going towards the space race. That is another new thing that is come up now. So we are all wanting to explore the space, explore the way that we can reach far out galaxies, and maybe explore planets, and try to see if we can make some planets inhabitable. So all these kind of things, the explorative nature is there. I'm curious if anybody knows this series that is called Doctor Who or Star Trek or this kind of series. They were very popular in the 90s actually. So might be that we are not so familiar with it, but so this was again. I'll just give a small glimpse of what it was about. So basically, there is this spaceship, and there is a captain in it, and they are traveling in space at the speed above light. So they are going to these planets where there are human beings, people that look like human beings. Some of the traits they share, like obviously they had to mimic that in a form of a film, so they can't. Imagine more than the human form. So they were aliens, and they were moving around in this planetary systems. They used to go and sort out the problems. So a lot of things were actually depicted in those series at that time that were almost what we are seeing today happen, and they were just imagining it, but they had written it nicely, and it's a nice series to watch if you are interested into way of thinking outside the box. Anna,
Mhm.
yes. Somebody else wants to pitch in. Shivangi, want to say something? Okay.
Oh, my mic is on. I'm sorry.
हाँ
I don't know. I just have not watched Star Wars, I think.
हाँ
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
exactly. So Star Wars, I think it was more towards sort of a
I
little bit
I
fighting was there.
also, I'm sorry, I just joined, so I was a little bit. It was out of
कोई
context.
बात कोई बात नहीं.
So sorry.
Yeah. So I was talking about how there is a series called the Star Trek series, and then there was the
Acha,
Star
oh,
Trek Generations. So that was another
oh,
series where there we were living in sort of a harmony with other planetary systems, and
acha.
a series that is actually from 1960s. It is running, which is called Doctor Who. It is
Wow.
still running, and it's the longest running series in BBC. So I actually sometimes follow it. It has very, very interesting ways of depicting what is coexistence, what is traveling into other planetary systems, not interfering with their evolution. All these kind of questions are answered there. So if you guys have time, or if you are curious, uh, I mean, that is a very wonderful series to follow and watch if you guys are interested. I mean, it starts getting interesting after the 90s. I'm talking about the Doctor Who series. So there is this. I don't know why we are discussing it here, but I just find it very intriguing that it is a spaceship that goes beyond time. You can go back and forth in time, and there is this person inside it which travels and is not supposed to harm existence. But when there is some sort of evolutionary threat, then this person gets involved, and he does and fixes some events, and those kind of things are happening. So it's a nice series to understand all these scientific minds. If you are interested in it, it's worth watching actually. Yeah, maybe she'll just share a link to you. It's previews, or it's the you can have the glimpse of it, and then maybe if you're interested, you can watch it. So yeah, humans are curious, and we are seeing that they're still launching bodies and telescopes in the space. The latest being the James Webb, as we said, and it's bringing out pretty good pictures of very, very far away galaxy systems, and it's showing that it has also possibilities of life, because they are seeing the way the light bounces from it, and they are seeing that there are other planets out there which have water. You know? Yes, Neelam Bhabi.
Yeah, namaste, Vidya.
Namaste.
Actually, I just wanted to add in that these series, I used to feel they were depicting fiction, but after so many years of science and development, I could feel that there is some reality also. So um, there has to be a redefinition of fiction, because these things were very fascinating to
Right,
watch.
right,
And but it always was said this is fiction, but
right,
yes, you could see that there are some realities on that also which are
right,
coming up now.
right. I mean, the
Yeah.
technology definitely was just an imagination, but now we are seeing that the communication devices they used at that time looked like mobiles, and now we do have them. There is still something that is still wanting to be developed, and that is called a sort of a gadget that basically it points towards you and it analyzes the problem and it fixes the solution. It actually stitches your skin up, or it heals the wound. It even heals the bones in an instant. So that gadget is still to be invented. But yes, everything was happening very fast in those series. A person get hurts, and that device is just moved up and down, and that guy is not bleeding anymore. So it was
There is a
fun to
movie
watch.
of this. I forgot the name, but
Hmm.
it was a spider movie,
Ah,
and there are some miraculous spiders that they said that they could heal. They had that healing powers, and this scientist, this lady scientist, was, uh, exploring that part. And when she died, she had her baby, and the baby could understand,
hmm.
and then she had this miraculous powers transferred. And
Right.
so these things, मतलब ये समझ में आता है कि मनुष्य को कल्पनाशीलता, जो
Right.
उनका इमेजिनेशन पावर है,
Hmm.
तो थ्रू जीवन humans are able to imagine these things. And probably since it is, what I could see is, since we don't know, or it is, क्या बोलते हैं, it's a रहस्य, it's a mystery.
Ah, ah.
It was actually connoted to as fiction, but when the things were discovered, as in when it came into reality, we know that there is nothing called fiction.
Hmm.
So I also feel that the, क्योंकि एक प्रक्रिया है, I would also like to understand this. जैसे अनुमान से कल्पना होता है, there is some kind of अनुमान. So
Right.
whatever these people or humans so far have been able to uh, have that kind of imagination,
Right.
so there could be some reality which is there in this existence, and the Jeevan is able to, wants to evidence that. I don't know what is it. How do I
Hmm. No, but
see?
Babaji has
Yeah.
also confirmed and clarified it that there are planetary systems out there which are supporting evolutionary stages of life, and that too they are humans, and that humans are actually, some planetary systems have that they are. Babaji has once mentioned that these human beings are traveling on just air basically. There is no, these vehicles are traveling in using the air, So the fuel is air, and I think it's not even water. They're just traveling using the power of the air. So when he's saying this, I'm sure it's very possible that he's able to, what is this word called?
Witness.
Yes, witness, and in fact travel, leaving the body behind, and Jeevan traveling to those other places, but at the same time attached to the body to function the minimalistic things to stay it alive. Astral
Mhm.
travel, right? That's the word. So this phenomena is actually there in the science also, where the Jeevan is able to travel out into the vastness, and we have also some discussions where this Jivan is sometimes not evolved so much, so we keep on saying that okay, that Jivan comes back into that same family because it is familiar, it is the environment is familiar to that Jivan, so it keeps on coming back into the same family. But what of the Jivan who are evolved? Those Jivans can actually travel far and wide and indeed go to other galaxy systems and propagate the message of coexistence that way. And I think that way is very, very feasible based on what modern science is saying, what also Babaji was saying about understanding something. So yeah, I mean, if you are comfortable, there is a the way I can say it, an example is that when you're comfortable, you are swimming into a water pool which your feet are touching down. Then when you are still comfortable with swimming, you will actually go to the deeper end, and you are still happy that you have still that the railing on the end to catch on to in the swimming pools, but you're still at the deep end, so your feet are not touching down. And then there is the deep sea, like literally you are in the middle of the sea and you can swim and you don't have any sort of fear. So this is how I can give you an example, maybe, that there are planetary systems out there, and what we had imagined, the telescopes actually saw that. So yeah, I mean, to a normal normal person, what science is able to do today, like if you go with a gadget like a mobile phone into any native place where there is no technology, we would be looking like magicians. So this is the thing that I think it is the case where there was people who could see or write up this fiction were actually just very good scientists, and they could just foresee the momentum of what science was going to come up with. So they just came up with those stories, and the aspirations that they had are actually coming true now. So because they saw some sort of realities happening in front of their eyes, they saw that the processor is going to get smaller and smaller and faster, and they saw the computation getting stronger. So they had maybe movies like Terminator and all these kind of things where they're depicting the artificial intelligence taking over the humanity. So that point is there even right now. We are having these issues that people are starting to get scared of how the robots will actually take over the jobs of everything. So that is the latest also, the artificial intelligence fear for everyone actually. So yeah, multiple things that we have touched just in the last 5 minutes, but yeah, it gets interesting as we are going and reading, and is this book never gets old. Like you will never say that it is not in line with the current, way of science or of way of thinking also. So even a scientist would actually be intrigued by reading this book. But yeah.
Since we were on the topic of fiction only, and
Mm,
initially we were talking about how imagination runs and all, I just
mm,
remember that there is this series of books known as The Handmaid's Tale, which is by Margaret Atwood. So that book is basically a little bit dystopian only, but
mm,
there's this quote that she says that if it is a good piece of fiction, then every part of that particular fiction would have been possible either now or it has already been done in some part of the world already. So
mm. Right.
according to that, so she wrote that book according to that only, but it happens to be a very chaotic scenario what happens to all these people. But
Uh,
apart from that, I can also, is what Neelam aunty was saying before, that it is related to whatever is reflecting in the society and all that. So that is also something we can look into.
yeah. Yeah, I think the mindset of anyone who is talking about something which is not clear is always of fear. Like basically, if we are not aware of all the elements and all the clarity is not there, then we will obviously succumb to the fears of something. Like even right now, artificial intelligence is so sharp at some things, but yet we are always depicting its negative traits. And indeed, the negative traits are there because we are also not seeing it as an ally. We are seeing that artificial intelligence is there out there to uh, destroy humanity. But if we are in orderliness, if we are asking the right questions, if we are showcasing to artificial intelligence that we are in harmony with existence, then why should artificial intelligence even have this problem of getting rid of humans or getting rid of their jobs? We will get more and more creative. So this is, I think, the way of thinking also has to be changed in the humans, especially the way the news is being fed. Like all these things are there are no scientific bodies that are making the documentaries as fast as the newsmakers are making the false news. So what I mean by that is that the goodness of some science evolution or some science invention is delivered later than the bad news being delivered first by the news agencies, especially because they are out there to make a story, and that story has to be very tasteful. And the best way to make it tasteful is to make it feel full of fear. I think that's the blunt way of putting it. And to put something to light, to put something to help in coexistence, that artificial intelligence will be helping with coexistence, will be helping our children to learn, will be helping our children to have how do I say it, uh, like a personal tutor for every child. Imagine that their progress is being maneuver like tracked, and that tracking in the artificial intelligence gives that right sort of guidance. Variety of tools are used to educate the child, and that education is surpassed is passed on with the coexistence of the way of coexistence. And that way every child will be able to actually indeed get a taste of coexistence very quickly, very fast, because artificial intelligence will be doing most of the uh, education part. So that is a very good way of looking at it actually. But then the news agencies will come before us and before this kind of news, and they will they will just create the fearful scenario for us, and then we will have to digest that. And again, that again brings the fear. Okay, so now we should have a shutdown button, or the governments will be forced to have a shut off button or anything like that. They will be having policies, so everything will slow down again, and all these kind of things happens. So yeah, I mean, evolution of the human is very necessary. And I think Babaji was very adamant on new technology. And he used to say sometimes in his talks that because the thing is not invented, I cannot use it. So he was talking about some sort of technological things, that some things at that time, he was always keeping himself very knowledgeable to scientific literature, and he was always thinking of ways of putting energies consumption to the lowest. He was interested in biogas plants and all these kind of things we can read. I have heard in his talks. So he was very forward for technological advancements and scientific research. So yes, it's depicted here again. So he, even as a person, I think Pathakji said it yesterday or today. I think that even the most learned uh, physicist or chemical person or professor uh, has not achieved that height that Babaji could say in his words. And that is also showing that he has this sort of clarity and vision, which is very to the point, because he has seen it that way. So yeah, I mean, seeing is actually uh, making it. I mean, when you see something, it is actually understanding it. So that's what Babaji is saying, that I've understood it like this, I've seen it like that, I've understood it like this, so you can also understand it like that. So we are actually also using our imagination again, and we are seeing that we are also getting forward. and basically we are also able to understand the way he understood also.
So, Bhaiya, I also wanted to know uh, Babaji definitely his literature was ahead of times.
Right.
What saw was because he went through a process and the whole cosmos as if just unleashed itself in front of Babaji.
Mm,
So suppose if the science wants to know, as we say कि मानना नहीं है जानना नहीं है.
mm,
Now science has this kind of imagination, and those people have actually went to discover something called AI or the other satellites or spaceships which can explore the other planets.
right. Right.
In that there could be what do you say, a usage of the resources which is there on the earth, right?
Mm, mm.
So there is one more part. If we want to explore this, so does it mean that we have to go through the process of sadhana and then only we can uh, go this, or I mean, how would it be possible?
I think we can explain it like this. Sadhana can be obviously achieving what Babaji has achieved and what others have also might have experienced. Also, the way Babaji has seen it, maybe not with such clarity, but yes, with you can basically see the whole of existence. And The only point is that I have sat with a lot of good scholars, and they have said one thing, that with science, what is there? There is multiplicity. Basically, what it means that we can multiply something using science. So, sir, for example, we have some people who can communicate. Like there is a family, I believe they are in the south of Americas or something like that, maybe in Russia. So this family is the mother is able to communicate with the son even though they are not in the same room, or even though they are not using any sort of sound or anything like that. They're like different rooms, but the kid is shown some picture or something in another room, and the mother is able to draw it on this completely different location. So this kind of thing is there, right? I mean, there is some sort of connection. They are able to communicate. That's fine. It's evidenced in the scientific instrumentation. They are showing that there is some brain activity, and that brain activity is received by the other person, the other child. But then what the science is doing is, today with the mobile phone we can do the same thing. So with the mobile phone, there is multiplicity. There is this phenomena which is not a rahasya. So that's what Babaji is saying. With education, with making it scientific, with all these books that he has written, is all about science. I know. So with science, there is a possibility of everybody understanding everything. That's what another Babaji's main theme of his this darshan is, that everyone has the potential, so everybody can understand everything. So that is the core of all this darshan, is that everything is coexistence, and everybody can understand this, and everybody can understand everything. So I think again, to your question, do we need to do sadhana? Yes. Again, if we want to take the longer route, definitely we can take the sadhana. We can uh, create that kind of group of people where we are connected with them with that sort of sadhana, and we are doing the sadhana with them, and then that is also again
No, my point
stable.
is, Vidya,
Hmm.
I understand the multiplicity. I got the point what you're trying to say with the
Hmm.
technology and science. What I'm trying to say is
Hmm.
to develop some devices to have that, you would use the natural resources from the earth.
Right.
There would be some side effects of it. There could be
Definitely.
some
Yeah.
pollution. So
Yeah.
what I want to say is, in that multiplicity, we should also know what are our wants,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Now, every humans, since they are humans and they are able to evidence the whole cosmos, they
Right.
want to explore it in physical form.
Right.
So, for that, the science and development will go to its lens
Hmm.
to exploit, we would say, the natural resources, but they don't think it's exploitation. They think
Yeah.
they want to explore. So I
Right.
would Yeah. So, what I mean to say, there would be some side effects. Now, if
Right.
we see that some person is awakened,
Mm.
he or she, as you said, there is called the astro travel that you talked
Right.
about.
Yeah.
So, how that work? For that, there is no technology which is needed.
Mm.
So, it
I
is,
think.
I think, unleashing of your Akshay Bal जो कह रहे हैं, Akshay
Uh,
Bal और Akshay powers and strengths जो कह रहे हैं. So that would be used, and that would be used how? I think the procedure would be the sadhana. Of
yeah.
course, right now we are studying this format is why? Because on a very basic need right now, the humans wants to sustain themselves on earth, and they
Mm.
want to live. There is no other format where it's saying that you can live harmoniously.
Right.
So right now we are just saying that one part,
Mm.
but uh, like
I think.
Babaji, some questions. There would be some human who would want to know the cosmos. So they would go either by the scientific way or by this
Right.
way.
Yeah.
So my
I
is
think
that.
it's a very I think it's a very interesting question in that either do we compromise the resources of Earth and go and explore other planets which are like Earth. So that is also another one question that was raised in the news channel once, that we are spending so much money to explore Mars. I mean, if we just channel that money towards getting rid of the poor on this planet, we would be actually achieving a better, far better and easier goal. And that is actually again arguable, because then that money is of the rich people. We cannot tell them to go and spend it on the poor and not spend it on exploring Mars. So again, the question lies that they are not able to communicate or to converse with other Jeevans in this human body. They feel that getting some answers from outside is the right way, whereas this resolution of coexistence is supposed to happen within the Jivan. So I think ultimately they are exploring outside because they don't understand that their answers are able to be gotten from the very knowledge by of coexistence. So I think if we look at it at the same parallel, that we were also going out to get the money. We were also very busy trying to make our name and fame and get our 15 minutes of fame. So all this was suddenly subsided or suddenly not in our second nature now, because we have found that we find a sort of a bliss and anand and all these things are there, and that is the very thing that they are wanting to search for. They are wanting to get the thrill. They are still stuck in priya hit labh, and the thrill factor is there. The animalistic mindset is still there. You see, the animal is just into the food, the multiplying and the thrill. That is the thing that the animal is surviving on. So that still is the thing, is the case in that animalistic mindset to their to their speed and to their way of exploring. But once they get this knowledge, once they understand that we are of um, requirement of happiness, and that happiness is within knowing the nine mulyas, and happiness is understanding the relationships, and that we are also having many jivans, and that when we have understood, when we are wise, when we impart that knowledge to the other jivans that are there, be it in our family, be it in our society, that is one way of getting satisfaction, of getting anand and then bliss. So all these kind of things start happening once you know your Shalini is not with us, but maybe Shivangi can help us. हर एक आदमी उसके every person is feeling fulfilled by their abilities. So अब इसका एक हिंदी कुछ है, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द एग्जैक्ट हिंदी दिस थिंग ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ इट, बट हर एक आदमी उसके
हर आदमी अपनी उपयोगिता पूर्वकता को जानकर तृप्त होता है।
तृप्त होता है, यस, परफेक्ट. हाँ भैया इज हेल्प मी. सो तृप्त मीन्स दिस सेटिस्फैक्शन दैट यू आर वेर यू आर ओके, यू आर इन लाइन विथ को एग्जिस्टेंस. You don't have to go and explore planetary systems out there. So we are exactly at that point right now. We are not knowing what is our upyogita and purakta. The moment we start knowing this, we start getting in a line with coexistence. We will understand the nine mulyas, and then we only will be fulfilling these relationships, and that is the true bliss point. Basically, the true north is not identified right now. That everything is achievable on this planet only. That's why since there is no true north, there are being charted outside, even outside this world, even maybe outside of this galaxy. So Elon Musk himself is trying to put this true north somewhere, at least outside of our planet. He's putting it on the Mars. So then somebody else or another person like him comes. Maybe even that same Jeevan will come in the future and take it further out point, towards some other sort of nearby galaxy. So that is how we are trying to chart it out. But basically, every Jeevan is going to feel truth by knowing his upyogita and purukta. Every Jeevan will be feeling, not the word tranquil is not the right word, but fulfilled by knowing his or her uh, utility and knowing his or her abilities. Upyogita and purukta, हाँ, yes, है ना? Maybe somebody else would like to add to this.
बढ़िया भैया, मुझे लगता
हाँ.
है मैं इसको सम अप मेरे ही क्वेश्चंस को ऐसे कर सकती हूँ आंसर।
हम्म, हम्म,
जो हम कहते हैं ना, इफ यू वांट टू गो द लॉन्गर वेट, आई
right,
फील बाबाजी जस्ट टुक a few years of his birth. He didn't go the longer wait. I think the science is taking the longer wait
right,
to explore and if you go the way Babaji went to explore, it's not a longer thing. The more shorter thing is, अभी जो अनुभव व्यक्ति है बाबा जी,
mm, mm,
उनका जो वाङ्मय हमको अभी रहने में हमको वो काम
right,
आता है, वो अनुभव, तो
right,
वो समझ में आ रहा है। तो हमको कोई जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है टू एक्सप्लोर द गैलेक्सीज एंड ऑल, बिकॉज if
mm,
we can sustain on this earth and we can sustain the earth itself and be in harmony,
right,
then there is no need to explore the other things. What you
mm,
rightly said is, once we know about our
uh,
uh, hmm, upyogita, as you
mm,
said, so
yeah.
probably I am satisfied with, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
of
think I will add one more homework for all of us. I will put a movie on the cloud somewhere. I'll share the link. It's called Star Trek Insurrection. Insurrection, it means that the overthrowing of a government. Now in that series, there is this planet where the rings of the planet are actually emitting a sort of waves that the humans are able to survive for 900 or even 1000 years, and the children are actually so small and their ages are 300 years and 400 years. They are showing that, and these children are mastering some small art, or they are showing the small culture diversity that they are showing. So there is so much of beauty in that movie. And I think we once we watch it, we can also discuss it. We can put one special satra and discuss that movie, of how important it is to understand that somebody has already thought of this, that even if you are going to allow this planet to evolve, it may come a time where there is the oxygen saturation is going to be more than what it is right now, 20%. It can be more than 30%. At that point of time, what happens is our body, our organs start to behave in a different way. They will be more saturated in oxygen, so lesser chance of getting infections and all these kind of things. So it is very, very interesting how that movie is portraying a planet where everything is happening nicely, and then these other people come out from the space and they want to take away this and destroy this planet and collect the rays from these rings that are circling the planet, and they want to use that to help other people or make medicine out of it. So in sorts, what is happening in right now, exploitation, but this is at a planetary scale.
Hmm. But yeah,
Yes.
you can either share that movie in the group, or you we can watch together on Saturday or Sunday.
Am I audible?
अब ये
am
बीच में फ्रीज हो गए थे आप। मैं
हाँ.
ये कह रहा हूँ कि
Yes.
वो
हाँ.
मूवी या तो आप शेयर कर देना, या हम इकट्ठे सैटरडे या संडे को देख सकते हैं, जैसे पहले हमने वो बाय
हाँ.
नाउ मूवी देखी, या
Right.
द ग्रीन
Right.
चित्रार्थ वाली मूवी देखी थी, है ना?
Right.
तो आप दोनों में से जो आपको ठीक लगे, दैट यू कैन डू.
Yeah. I think it would be nice to keep it on the cloud so that we can watch it with the subtitles in our small time frame whenever we are, and then we can discuss that movie, some points on it, and we can just get highlight of it, of how things are actually, evolving in that movie, because that's a very nice movie. I find it very interesting how artificial intelligence is being talked about there, how technology is being talked about there, how evolution is talked about there, that these people actually evolved to a state where they can travel into space, outside into space, but they stop doing that. They are saying that if you take away the work of a man by machines or anything that, then you take away part of the man. So that was very one good sentence that I liked, because basically we are what we are working with. So I'm not talking about mundane things. I'm talking about the things that we are doing out of celebration, what we are passionate about. So when we allow the humans to stop doing that and that the machines take over doing that, then we allow part of ourselves to be dissolved in essence. So yeah, it's a great movie to watch. A lot of good quotes in that movie actually. So I will share it definitely, and I'll share it in the cloud also, and that would be the best way I think. And then we can discuss it obviously, and we'll make it a special satra on one of these Saturdays. Uh, this Sunday, this coming Saturday, Sunday, we might be hosting the Ayurvedic chikitsa, like getting to know Ayurveda a little bit. So I might not be able to do two sessions again together, but let's see. But definitely, I'll put it on the cloud tonight also, so you can just watch it and have a glimpse of how that kind of planet, is there, and there's a lot of things are answered there. So to put it short, whatever out there is there. It's in accordance with evolution. First thing, and that evolution is towards sustaining all these four orders. First being the matter order, then the plant order, then the animal order, and the human order. So it's just the same. That's what Babaji said. Everything is working towards evolution. That evolution has these four stages of the matter, then the plant life, then the animal, and then the human order. Now, this exact thing can be looked at the molecular level. There is the higher abundance of hydrogen. Everywhere in the space, there is hydrogen. Then there is a lesser amount of oxygen. Then there is a lesser amount of minerals like calcium, magnesium, zinc, and all these kind of things. So this exact formula or this exact prescription is out there in space also. So that means that our body is composed of exactly the same way, where there are the recipe of the quantification of the elements out there is the same. So what we are made of is the what is out there in the space. So obviously there is this planetary systems that will be sustaining life like this, that will be evolving, and that's not to be argued. But the point is that, do we need to go out there and explore that thing, or do we just come here and understand coexistence and make that a tradition? That's the point. I think it's a very big mistake to burn up the Earth's oxygen to fire up the rockets and go to the Mars. And maybe after that, the second task is to take away 20 tons and 50 tons and have maybe one day 100 tons of Earth's matter and go and build some pockets of houses in Mars and those kind of things, because Mars does not have an atmosphere. So most probably a lot of things will be going from here to there. So I mean, we are just discussing this, but keeping in mind that it is completely unnecessary. It's a detriment towards the planet's stage of evolution that is reached right now. If somehow we were to vote onto this, we should strictly say a no to it, because if one person says let's go and inhabit Mars, then another person who will be in the future becoming rich, they will say that they want to occupy the moons of Jupiter. There is also possibility that there is oceans there. So now you want to put life there also on those moons of Jupiter. So this is no end, and I think where there is orderliness is reached, we should be focusing on preserving the tradition there and understanding, and then understanding coexistence. I mean, and then going ahead with that in tradition, and there's just multiplying it through tradition.
Yes, भैया गणेश भैया has properly summed it up. मंगल पर जीवन ढूंढने की बजाय जीवन में मंगल ढूंढना है.
हाँ, yes, बढ़िया. Yeah. So
ये मैंने ना कहीं पढ़ा था तो एकदम से मुझे स्ट्राइक कर गया।
uh, uh, no, it is hard, I mean, to the rich people, how will you explain to them? To them, they feel that the earth is full of people who are miserable, and these people will never understand. Let's go outside and let's make a life good for us, for our group of people, group of elites, growing out into space and making their own planet, viable to live. So, but that will not be the case. I mean, orderliness takes times, especially when we talk about matter is not just, I mean, earth itself took millions and millions of years. Babaji has said इतना श्रम लगा है पृथ्वी को इस स्टेज में पहुंचने में, and we are not taking even the gratitude of that, and we are just burning up the resources or blasting away the atomic bombs and creating this heat that the earth was actually worked so many millions of years literally to put it in its belly. These all these nuclear particles, atomic particles that are there, they were actually inside the earth, kept very safe distance from the surface where we are right now. But now what we are doing, we are digging it up and we are making bombs out of it, and then making test firing blasts and all these kind of things. So completely unnecessary things, I mean, and definitely with education we can move ahead from this kind of scenarios, and it will be indeed a great task, especially after we become wise enough to take these positions and take these people into account, that they cannot just do this because the whole of humanity is in coexistence with each other. They feel that they are able to do that because of their status or because of their money power or all these kind of things. But when we look at it at the holistic way of the way existence is, no one person can be put above for the good of many. So that is another one good quote in that Star Trek only. No one person can be put above for before the good of many. So we cannot put that person high in a higher state just because he thinks so or she thinks so, and the good of many are being ruined because of that. But yeah, so we have still 7 minutes. Should I go ahead and read a little, or maybe we can finish this paragraph and then we can just end that point? Anybody else wants to add? But yeah, so this is just adding to what we have just read. The basic form of diversity in the insentient nature lies in the differentiation of particles comprising atoms. These distinct atomic structures, with its defined status in nature, give rise to diversity in their arrangement. So again, diversity is being talked about here, and diversity happens when the elements are able to combine with each other, forming new compounds, new molecules. And we are even given an example. For instance, the biological order exhibits a multitude of compositions. So that's true. Well, a lot of plant life is there. These compositions inherent to the entities naturally exist in their respective forms, participating in coexistence. So with the seed parampara, we are understanding that they are participating in coexistence because they are repetitive in nature. We are talking about the biological forms, the biological order being the plant life. The substances taking these forms are also embodiments of coexistence. Thus, the entirety of existence with its manifestations is grounded in this principle. Humans too are part of existence. So this is a very, very strong conclusion to this paragraph. The substances taking these forms are also embodiments of coexistence. So basically, these forms which have been taken, be it in the animals or in the plants, those are embodiments of coexistence. They are existing with coexistence. Yes, Bhaiya.
So very beautifully it has been explained
Hmm.
how due to physico-chemical reactions, so many
Hmm.
things are there in nature. But if you see, there are so many messages on WhatsApp where it has been glorified that this all happened due to or created by the God. Na?
Right,
It's
right.
a very common message every time circulates on the WhatsApp that you
Hmm.
see each and everything has been. created or made by God. And here a different thing has been explained, that it is due to the physico-chemical. Every insentient nature, जड़ पदार्थ और ये सब चीजें जितने भी प्राण पौधे हैं, ये एक फिजिको केमिकल रिएक्शन का रिजल्ट है। तो यहाँ पे ये थोड़ा डिफरेंस है दोनों आइडियलिज्म में और अध्यस्त।
हम्म,
और
बढ़िया।
साइंटिफिकली भी बातें ऐसी ही आती हैं
हम्म,
that they are due to physico-chemical reactions.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think artificial intelligence will soon confirm this, that everything is happened because of time, and there's a lot of time that existence had, and everything is happening in very very slow, smooth uh, effect, and this effect is actually is like visible even today. We can see the algae, the way it was the millions of years ago, the how the plant life started. Then we can see the, the snails and all these invertebrates, basically animals without any vertebrate. And then we can see all these animals with the vertebrates. The shark is there, which is existing for thousands of years. The whale is there. All these manifestations of these life forms are there. So even today, if we look at it and we can trace it, that we can see that what Babaji was saying was actually very very true, that all life started out just like this, and evolution is a constant change that is there out there. And again, I just want to conclude this. Thus, the entirety of existence, the whole of existence, with its manifestations, means that with its grandeur of different varieties of life forms, is grounded in this principle. What is that principle? The principle of coexistence. So we have to stick to this very, very cautiously and very, very strictly, that everything is in coexistence. Even the manifestations that are, you know, taking form with a lot of combinations and permutations, they are all just but existing. They are all embodiments of coexistence. And then the last sentence, humans too. You can see this, I'll just highlight it. Humans too. I think I lost myself here. Humans too are part of existence. So again, this means that we are also part of this existence, and coexistence is what is existence. So we should be very very humbled by this line. And to say that we are a part of different, we are elite, we are strong because we have money and all these kind of things, is just a way of befooling ourselves and others, especially if we are looking at the way even the Adarshwad is going towards. Sometimes I'm looking at these discourses by some people where they are still pulling that sentence out of the hat, that if you don't do this you will be sinned, and all these kind of things is still going on. uh, I think it's high time that we started realizing what is coexistence, and not be fooled by this kind of nonsense, which is almost a nonsense. Because in this nonsense, what is happening is we are allowing the earth to get more and more regressive in its existence. Like it is reversing its gear. The carbon levels are so high that they were not there in the millions of years ago. That is the rate right now, where that the carbon dioxide is so high. And these delicate balances are very very crucial for people to understand, to stay with in harmony. And I mean, I might be using harsh words here, but basically this is the true fact, that if we don't understand coexistence, or at least if we have understood it, if we don't impart it, what will happen is the earth itself will not be existing, or at least it will be existing in a very very fragile state. A lot of people who will have the resources will be able to survive. Those will not have the resources will be perishing. Climatic migration is also the reality. So yeah, a lot of responsibilities on us actually, as people who are on their journey towards wisdom. So, with that thought, I leave you with this link that I'll share soon about this movie. It's called Star Trek Insurrection. I'll leave the preview right now. You can just watch it very quickly, and then I'll have to upload it. So maybe it'll take some 20 minutes, and then we can watch it at our time. And then maybe in next week we will discuss the same. So, Badya, our time is up. We will meet tomorrow, and everybody have a good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Hmm.